Let's talk about something that makes watching college hoops even better. Evan Williams Bourbon. It's game day's #1 pour. The perfect addition from tip-off traditions to buzzer-beater celebrations. This award-winning bourbon is extra aged for a taste that's smooth, rich, and easy to enjoy, whether neat, on the rocks, or in a classic cocktail. Personally, I like to drink it on the rocks. So, whether it's a pre-game pour or a post-win nightcap, make every game day moment even better with Evan Williams. Visit evanwilliams.com to find a bottle near you. Evan Williams Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Bardstown, Kentucky. 43 to 45% alcohol by volume. Enjoy responsibly. 21 and older.
The spirit of innovation is deeply ingrained in America, and Google is helping Americans innovate in ways both big and small. The Department of Defense is working with Google to help secure America's digital defense systems, from establishing cloud-based zero-trust solutions to deploying the latest AI technology. This is a new era of American innovation. Find out more at g.co/American innovation.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
I want to get to Stugotz's travels. He told us before leaving that he was partaking in Operation Blooming Onion.
Yes.
I don't know what that was exactly. It was going to Australia on a flight that he was complaining about. Yeah. All he told me when I told him Sydney, Australia is a place that I could live, he was saying too far away. I do not like flights that are 16 hours. Basically, all he told me about his travels is how little he enjoyed the flight there and the flight back.
I mean, it's a long flight. It's 18 hours. Then you get off in New Zealand, and you wait an hour or so, and then you take a 3-hour bird over to Sydney, Australia. And I got to tell you, Dan, once you've made the flight from the United States to New Zealand or Australia, you laugh at all other flights. I mean, I get on a flight now from L.A. to Miami. I laugh the entire 5 hours. I do. I'm like, ha! 5 hours. Get out of here. I just spent 18 hours on a bird. But Australia's great, and everyone should try to get there once in their lifetime. I know Dan said he wants to live there. I would not live there.
I didn't say I wanted to live there. I'm saying I could.
Said it.
I said I could live there. It's one of the cities that I've been to that are foreign that I could live in.
But why would you say that if you had no interest in it?
Only because having been there are very few places that I visit that I say that of. There are
Could versus would. Is that the big difference?
Yes. Could versus would.
It's the same.
One of the things that happened to me...
It's not the same.
Well, it kind of is the same, yes.
No. It's an odd distinction to make. Of like, why would I didn't say I would live there.
You literally could live anywhere. You wouldn't just die from living in Raleigh.
I could live there,
Dan would.
I would not live there. Like, which part of this are you guys not understanding? That I could see myself living there, and also I would not live there.
Well, then you can't see yourself living there.
Would you just die?
I mean,
You'd get off the 18 hours and just plots right there.
Which part of this are you guys not understanding?
We're all confused.
Very clearly all of
if
it,
it's
right.
all of us.
you want to live there or not? I mean,
Dango.
No, I don't want to live there, but I could.
Yeah, that's a disconnect for me.
What other places are on this list?
right, yeah.
Of the could
that's a
but
good.
wouldn't?
That's a great question.
Highly-
Great
See
question.
yourself
Awesome
living
question.
there, but you would never live there.
London.
You could or you would live
You
there.
could see yourself living in London?
I could, but I would not.
That place makes me sad.
You have to look right. It's very dangerous.
Are
to
there
live
any
in London.
places you would but couldn't see yourself?
Exactly.
Yeah, the places that you would but couldn't.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, I haven't
Chris.
finished the other list yet. I haven't finished.
good.
I thought you guys wanted more there.
Yeah, but
from
it's
the
going to
list
help us
of
get the whole thing
places.
because I think there's still like a disconnect on the
Costa
gambit.
Rica
Is
is
he
another
going to say,
place.
I would live on Mars?
I couldn't.
But you can't.
Well, I wouldn't either.
That's a good one.
I wouldn't either.
I can't even see myself living on Mars.
Cannot.
Right.
I
But I
would do
wouldn't.
so poorly there.
All people would. It's not inhabitable in any real way, no matter what Elon Musk thinks about what he's going to do to Earth so that him and his 7 friends that are billionaires could live there. Incidentally, by the way, I'm curious about this. In all of the Elon Musk talk that there is, does anyone think it particularly despicable that the world's richest man would make it so difficult for the mothers of his children to get any money from him? Like, in terms of despicable, there's a list of things that we can assign to Elon Musk that are despicable, but women who have had had his babies, that he therefore, after that, doesn't actually want to give any money, even though money doesn't mean anything to him, given the amount he has?
Do you want a top 10 list of athletes and actors and rich people who don't take care of kids after impregnating women?
Understood, but he's doing this a lot with a lot of women, and
I like that list.
And all those athletes are not as rich as Elon Musk is.
What is it? It's over. The number's over 12, right? And occasionally, some of these things spill into social media, and then it's usually an effective move because Elon Musk replies and says to the world and the person tweeting at them or posting at them, I guess that's what it's called these days, exactly how much money he's going to be giving them. Yeah, these NDAs probably got to be pretty fascinating.
I'm a Dick Van Patten guy. I think 8 is enough.
I didn't know where that was going.
8 is enough.
I think he should have stopped at 8. And there's a way you can stop it. You just get snipped, clipped. It's one way you're free to roam the country, which Elon likes to do.
I don't think these are mistakes.
No, he's big on repopulating the...
I think he wants his bloodline out there.
But then why wouldn't he give money to support the kids?
That part is a bit cruel to me.
Gotta want to earn.
Well, he could, but he wouldn't. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
Teaching him lessons.
He does, but sometimes people aren't satisfied with it. I don't know. It seems as though, from what I've deduced on social media behavior, that he is paying for these children. Sometimes the means in which some of these mothers need to go about doing it are really bad optics.
That's really the point to listen to. Is there's a difference between supporting people. There's like Warren Buffett. He doesn't plan on giving any of his estate to any of his heirs. None of it. You'd think growing up in Warren's house, hey, I got a good shot here. I'm going to be loaded. There's a bunch of rich people who decide that they're going to let their kids do it the hard way, the way they had to do it.
Bill Gates.
So Elon Musk, why can't he just give enough money for them not to live on the street? They could live in a mansion, but they can live in a two-bedroom.
Because it's an asshole's move. That's why. Because you loved these women at one time, and they are the mother of your children.
Oh, I think you're making an awfully big assumption there. Like maybe some of them, but like a lot of these appear...
You cared about them enough to procreate with them and have whatever that relationship entails after that, and then you're not willing to do you're willing to pay more in NDAs than you are in child support.
Well, the nature of some of these things seem pretty transactional. Like he is, for whatever reason, really on the train that we got to repopulate the earth. And
he's not a charmer?
No, like I know he was maybe Grimes. There was some romance there, but these NDAs are pretty airtight. But a lot of these, that doesn't seem like there's a lot of romance. It seems like, as far as the public knows, like 3 DMs that we got to see.
But is there romance with Hill, the Dolphins player? Is there romance there when he's having a bunch of kids with a bunch of people?
I can't speak for
Anthony Edwards, I think.
We don't know. We're not there.
Yeah, why do we need romance?
I don't know. With Elon, we have a little bit more.
Whoa. I was not saying romance, first of all. I did mistakenly say love, and in some of these instances, there may not be love. But
You're talking about an obligation?
I'm just talking about if money to you is nothing other than toilet paper, because it's not real. You have more than anyone in the world. I'm guessing that all of these women are not being unspeakably unreasonable about what it is that they think that his child might deserve in terms of support, given that he decided to have that child.
It's disappointing you're making us defend Musk, but I have to at this point, because all of the extortion, all of the examples where people would just ask for amounts that are just not reasonable. Just because you can afford something doesn't mean you should afford something.
So the last 3 that we've known about that have played out in the public space with social media postings, Grimes saying that I don't usually do this, I cannot reach my child, Elon, get a hold of me. They have multiple children. That we'll put that one off to the side. That bubbles up occasionally, but then it dies down. There was a Fox News contributor that went out publicly. Elon never really denied that this was his child. She was posturing after it became known for perhaps more support, and Elon, something to the effect of on social media, said that was granted. And then this one, he actually did not know if this child was his. So that's a bit of a difference between the most recent one. But he said, regardless, I'm giving her something to the tune of $500,000.
It is interesting that David always views things through the prism of how do you protect the money instead of the person.
No, and thank you for putting me in that saddle.
I didn't put you in that saddle. You put that saddle right on that horse yourself.
You try to make yourself out as this person, except when people try to extort you or try to take something from you, you stand up and you buck like a bronco saying, hey, when did I become the teeth that everyone sucks off?
That is not what I do, and I'm not the world's richest man either. I'm not the world's richest man either.
Second?
And
no.
I do have dollars falling in my backyard wherever it is that I stay.
Only ones, though.
Which part of Costa Rica would you stay in or live in?
The plumbing situation.
Could you see
isn't
yourself
great.
in? Yes.
You got to be careful with the plot of land that you get in Costa Rica. Make sure that they have plumbing.
Yeah.
You can add plumbing.
No, I understand. Well,
It's hard.
The beach side is a lot nicer, too. I could see Dan living there. I could see Dan on the beach side of Costa Rica.
There's a lot of wildlife in the jungle side.
I could see him like on a rainforest, like a giant like treehouse mansion type thing, you know, with an infinity pool.
He could do that, but he wouldn't.
When you have this many children, this many women, and this much money, and so much of the complaint is that you're not taking care of your kids, when it's this many women, it's not one or two. It suggests something that is on the cusp of cruel.
What's the amount? 100 million per kid?
What is the amount if you have a closet filled with toilet paper and somebody needs some toilet paper? The money doesn't mean the money's not real to him, David. It doesn't. The money doesn't matter to him. He's got so much of it that giving it to anybody doesn't cost him anything. It doesn't cost him anything.
Well, I'm just asking for you to give me a number. Should every woman who has a child with him get 200 million? Then everyone who has sex with him but doesn't have a child, that's 50 million because you took the time.
I mean, David, he's talking about supporting kids that he had. I mean, and he has unlimited amounts of cash.
It has nothing to do with the limits of cash. There is an amount of money. I'm simply asking. And you're not willing to give me a number. You say he uses money as toilet paper. Is it $1 billion? Because he's got enough.
Is that what they're asking for, David? Are they asking for $1 billion?
I'll play your game. $5 million a kid.
$5 million a kid.
That seems fair.
That is a very reasonable number. Plus education.
Yeah.
Like just $5 million in a trust that grows.
And I'll be here for support.
$5 million a kid plus college education.
You guys
to Dan's
close.
David, to Dan's point though, he could do that very easily.
How do you know he's not?
That's true.
We don't.
I don't.
I'm trying to play the game. We don't know.
You guys,
we don't know the nature
panic.
of the agreements.
You guys, Tom Wamsgams on Succession.
That's a real name?
Said that is a real name. Yes, that's the character's name. Tom Wamsgams on Succession says that $5 million is the worst kind of rich to be because you're not. Again, this comes from the most. This comes from the most grotesque.
You're rich, but you're not rich.
Let me finish. Okay. The most grotesque of wealth is looking down on the people who only... The most grotesque of wealth, which is where Elon Musk exists, look down on the people who only have $5 million as the least of the rich people.
Do you?
I do not.
Oh.
No. But I do think
you don't look down or you don't have $5 million.
Well, he's looking up at the hills because the money's coming down.
Yeah.
Terrible Airbnb. Outrage.
Do you have any theories as to what those dollars were doing in the pool and the bushes? Do you have any theory as to why dollars were just falling from the mountainside through the clouds?
I believe they were Monopoly dollars.
No, they were real dollars.
Do you know that for sure?
Yes, I do know.
Did you touch them?
Yes, I did.
Did you hold it up to a light?
Yes, I had them.
Did you do the marker thing?
I took them and put them. I did not do the marker thing. I did not hold them up to a light.
So you're not sure?
I am sure they were. They may have been
fakes now, Dan.
They
I
may
start
have been,
sweating when that marker comes out.
Oh yeah. I never know. What if I got a fake one by accident?
I'm the same way. Is that a toxic trait? I'm like, well, this might be the time they get me, even though I'm well intentioned.
No, I've been gotten there by not my counterfeit dollars.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so
What do you
embarrassing.
say? I've never met anyone.
Somebody took $100 from me in a grocery store because they did all of that stuff, and it wasn't a real $100.
Do they
bill.
have your child?
Or they just fooled me and told me it wasn't.
That's what I would do.
That's what I'm thinking. There's a good marker gag
Getting a
here.
job at Publix.
Did they have your child? Is what you decided was the good joke to use there. That's what you decided.
You wouldn't give them the money?
You decided that was the good joke there. To ask me the question, did they have your child?
was a callback to Elon.
I'm thank you. That's
Well, you didn't answer in David's defense.
Yeah, I tend not to when he or Billy ask those kinds of
What do I
questions.
have to do with this?
That's your specialty.
Me? I'm
Your
just here.
specialty is asking a question that you don't actually want to hear the answer to. It's just a question that's a joke for you to enjoy with the
No.
audience on how clever you are.
I have
it's not
lots of-
something you want an answer for.
I have lots of questions I want to answer for. Like, for example, if you could or would live in London, would you adopt an accent at some point in time?
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt.
I think after like 3 years, you'd have one.
I saw a video of Lindsay Lohan. She had a Middle Eastern accent because she lived out there for 2 years.
When she went over there, it was Lohan. When she was here, it was Lohan. See?
It happened. I went to Australia. I started calling everyone mate. I mean,
It happened to Hilaria.
It happened to Chris Whittingham.
She was Hillary.
But not when you're back. You're
No,
done with
I
that.
stopped. Yeah, I stopped.
Can you tell us about your travels? How did the searching for marijuana go?
Dan, I got to tell you, I missed a good search for marijuana because
easy?
marijuana, yeah, it's too easy now. I walk into stores, there are cops there, there are drug sniffing dogs there. I have no idea why. It's legal. I'm buying marijuana. I go to Zen Leaf in Evanston. I go to all these different places, and it's easy. And I figured Australia would be easy. Bondi Beach, a bunch of surfers, that there would be pot everywhere. There was none. It's not legal there. It's very difficult to get. And I was frustrated because I thought it would be easier until I started my search. And what I missed was this, asking the local bouncers, hey, where can I score a dime bag? Where can I get an eighth? Asking the local surfers if they had any. Walking by Surfers Row. They live in vans there on Bondi Beach. They're just waiting for waves, okay? And they're all smoking dope, and it's coming out of their vans. And, I asked a few of them, and they're very greedy with their weed, by the way. They didn't give me any, but I asked. And then I
You
started.
seem like such a cop, though.
I do. I
Narc.
do. I
It's
do.
just Pappas going up to all these different groups of
Van to
surfers.
van, yes.
Hey, you have any weed?
But here's what happened. I asked a local bouncer, and he told me about this guy, Kiwi. And Kiwi met me in an alley.
Of course.
And I gave him $100, and he gave me some great weed. Dan, it was exciting from this standpoint. I had to look around to see who was watching. If I'm about to get arrested, are there cops here? And I got to tell you, the weed game, the cannabis game has become too easy. I miss going to places like the Tie Door, where I would go to Queens, New York. I would drive 45 minutes. He would open a little slot on his door. He would stick his hand out. His hand had herb in it. I would stick my hand in. My hand had money in it. And I got to tell you, I never saw the guy's face. And it was delightful. And I felt like I was on the cusp of getting arrested. And I missed the rush of scoring marijuana in a place where it's illegal. I'm going back to Australia. I can see myself living there.
Maybe not anymore after this segment.
Yeah, Kiwi is a good mate. I mean, my best mate.
How good was the quality down under?
It wasn't as good as I thought it would be.
Pencil shavings.
Yeah.
Had it.
But I miss a chase for drugs.
You may or may not know this, but 20 years ago, the origins of this very show were just a dream for Dan and Stugotz. That dream turned into a show and a business you're listening to today. Starting your own business is a dream lots of us share, but too many of us let it remain just a dream. Don't hold yourself back thinking, what if I don't have the skills? What if I can't do it alone? Turn those what ifs into why nots with Shopify by your side. Shopify powers millions of businesses worldwide, including 10% of all U.S. e-commerce. Whether you're Mattel or you're just getting started, Shopify's got your back. Not a web designer? No problem. Shopify has beautiful, ready-to-go templates. Need help with the details? Their AI tools can enhance product images, write descriptions, and even generate discount codes. Worried about finding customers? Shopify makes marketing easy with email and social media tools. So what are you waiting for? Turn those dreams into and give them the best shot at success with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/Batard. B-A-T-A-R-D. Go to shopify.com/Batard. Shopify.com/Batard.
Hey friends, it's Jer Bear here, and I'm here to tell you all about Boost Mobile, which is now a legit nationwide 5G network. So I must take a break from the jokes here for a second and put on my serious voice, because I would never ever joke about a 5G network that has invested billions building 5G towers across the country. Not even once. Not even if Mr. Boost Mobile himself asked me to. There is nothing funny about it. Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network and also provides coverage across 99% of America. Seriously. Visit boostmobile.com or your nearest Boost Mobile store location to learn more. The Boost Mobile network, together with our roaming partners, covers 99% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds, not available in all areas.
Folks, it's Mike Ryan, and do you know that Miller Lite has basically been a partner of this show for almost 20 years? And as we celebrate 50 years of Miller Lite, that means for a large chunk of it, and look, I didn't go to school for math, but I'm pretty sure that's like 80% of the time that Miller Lite's been existing, they've been with our show. And I'm so grateful for it because we truly believe this. If you listen to us back in our radio days, throughout our times in national radio, to the pirate phase, to now, you know that Miller Lite has been a huge supporter of ours. And I've always been a huge supporter of Miller Lite. Why? Because it's got taste you know you can depend on. A great beer, trusted by beer lovers for 50 years. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Don Le Batard.
I had Rachel and Emma both home, and I was in a fight with Rachel. And I said, if you roll your eyes one more time, there's going to be a problem. A big problem. And she said, really? What are you going to do?
Stugotz. Oh, goddamn.
I mean, that's where
I didn't have an answer.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I have not gotten used to, I don't know if the rest of you have been in New York since people are just walking through the street smoking weed. It's disorienting to me, as I don't know when that started. That's the last 5 years. Is that post-pandemic that people in New York are just walking through the streets smoking weed?
Well, the politicians there made it so it's not even a petty crime. You can do whatever you want. You're not going to get stopped. The police were told specifically, let it go. So that was when I was growing up in New York and you went to the park or you got delivered by the chief, is how that would work. Not Robert Parrish, but it could have been. Now everything's out in the open.
Never went to the tie door, huh?
No. Too scared.
Yeah, if you're staying at a New York hotel, not that I've done this, but I've heard people that have done this, and you type in dispensary, they like pop up like all
everywhere.
Over.
Yeah,
like you could walk from every hotel. You can walk to a dispensary.
Oh, but I'm not even talking about that part. That part I've gotten used to in a lot of different places in America. What I haven't gotten used to is just the walking straight through the streets of New York. I got to think that some of the people listening to this are surprised by that a little bit. Just walking around smoking outdoors the way that you would cigarettes.
It's now cigarettes in New York. That's the change.
It is.
But even cigarettes are something that if you're smoking, people will look at you with more judgment now than if you're smoking weed.
You ain't kidding. I mean.
It's a bit strange, and I'm not in any way accustomed to it. But you're saying that there are rigidities in Australia, and this tracks for Stugotz.
It's not legal.
He doesn't feel as alive unless the authorities feel like they're closing in. For example, there's another rental car that he's using today that is like the 7,000th rental car that he's used, and I don't know what's going on in his life, even though we've asked him several times on why the rental cars are always different. It's like it's never the same thing. He has been for more than, I'm going to say, years now, just renting cars all the time.
Today's the actual car. I mean, I was gone long enough where my car is finally fixed, so I actually...
Okay, so that's the car?
That's the car,
I don't recognize what is your actual car because it looked like
the car,
a new rental car because I'm so used to you just driving rental cars all the time.
That's the car for now, mates.
That dealership must hate you. They must despise you.
What, the Audi dealership?
Just like every week, I need another loaner. Buddy,
there.
Listen, I know I said last week was the last one, but Rachel, Emma, I need another loaner, buddy. I'll pay you next week.
So Mike is questioning my 5. I have an Audi for my wife, and I have one for each kid. So that's 4.
Well,
you said 5.
You're an empty nester right now, so you held on to the cars?
What just happened to the math there?
Unbelievable.
I happen to math, Dan.
Yeah. So what is true? I think you have...
I have 4.
I think you have 3 cars for 4 people.
I have 4 cars for 4 people.
That can't be true, Stugotz. You're always in a rental.
Well, listen, the drive down here, and I regretted it. I mean, the second I got my car and it said 2.5 hours to the Elser Hotel, did I regret my decision. But I am telling you, 95, Dan, is where cars go to die. I'm serious. You drive the amount that I drive on I-95 north and south, you are bringing your car to the shop often, very often.
So you've decided that your plan is whenever you're in Miami,
extra car.
You have not the 4 Audis, but you get the 5th rental car, and you drive the rental car down and back.
Yes, just on 95.
Do you guys have a good grip on how many cars Stugotz has?
No.
And what is the truth here? Like, what do you guys believe to be the truth here? What? Just take all of the words that Stugotz just spit in the room, run them through your Stugotz is always lying translator, and give back to me what you believe is happening in the Stugotz driveway right now.
I believe they have 4 cars. But I also think that he has a relationship with somebody at that dealership where he is often just going in and getting a loaner. Probably not even having to pay for it.
It's fair. His name's Brett.
Yeah, I
Way
try
to go.
I try to take inventory of them. So from what I gathered, even though he's an empty nester presently, he still has at least one of his daughter's cars, and he uses that occasionally. I guess it's a miles situation. When she's not in town, he drives that here. But often there's a courtesy vehicle decal on the cars too. To which I agree with Chris. He's got some sort of shady deal going.
That sounds plausible. He's been working in radio's crevices to take advantage of things for a long time. And radio and car dealerships have a symbiotic relationship that is of great profit to people like Stugotz.
Love you, Brett. Tell him Stugotz sent you.
So this is it. This is the moment when it happened. Because he's gone this whole career with you. He hasn't yelled out to Audi until today. I think they finally said, dude, you got to mention my name from time to time. This has been a one-way relationship.
I told you guys the last time I came from Los Angeles that I saw a ton of those robots delivering food in a way that was super confusing to me because I just don't understand how any of that happens. But also what I saw in Los Angeles, which seems a little more technologically advanced in this realm than Miami is, a lot of self-driving cars, which I would never get into because of the aforementioned love of fear that I have, and
you can't see yourself in one of those?
Adherence to fear. I saw a number of people in cars that weren't being driven by the people in those cars, and that's not something that I think the technology is too dangerous and too primitive at this point to trust it. What are you laughing about, Samson?
I'm laughing because were you in London where you often think that no one's in the driver's seat but they're driving on the other side?
I saw somebody drive that today, right here in South Florida. He's driving a BMW on the right side of the car. I was like, what's going on here?
Or like the wrong side.
My mailman does that.
Would you guys do this? Would you guys?
If I had faith in it.
But that's. I mean, but that's.
It sounds
that's
like
my
the
point.
dream. It sounds like the dream, like to hop in a car and not have to worry about talking to anybody. That sounds great.
It's the reality.
The last time I was in LA, my rideshare driver did get into an accident with me in the car. I didn't stick around for the questioning.
Do you feel safer in a car driven by a random Uber stranger in Miami, which can be its own adventure, than you would in a self-driving automated car? Which do you feel safer in?
Self-driving
No
automated
way.
car.
I want
every
someone
day.
driving my car, taking me where I need to go.
Did you see their driver's results test? Do you see their
I don't
record?
care.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show, please. Which do you feel safer in? A car that someone's driving or a self-driving car? Because I am curious, the people listening to this, Billy, you are the one that most resembles me as a fear-based creature. You would embrace getting into a self-driving car?
No, I was worried. I was worried about the fact that the car would just decide where it is that I need to go, whether I wanted to go there or not. And we were talking about this the other day, how I'd tell the car, take me to McDonald's, they'd take me to LA Fitness, and then I'd get upset that the car was judging my body. Now, guys, Sharks, I have a business proposition to propose to you guys, maybe Metalark's newest venture, and I'll stand for this because this is a serious one. You guys heard of Waymo? We're kind of talking about it right now. It's like a self-driving type Uber situation, right?
It's got like a propeller on the back. That's what or on the top. I was seeing a lot of these.
Well, those
in
are
Los
helicopters.
Angeles. No, these were not helicopters.
Oh.
These were cars.
Aren't those like sensors and cameras for the self-driving part?
There was something spinning on this vehicle. I did not know what it was.
Could have been a satellite.
Maybe. So this is what I'm thinking, and let's keep this hush-hush amongst us. I think if we pick the right cities, we just invest in these self-driving cars, but we rebrand them as ghosts are driving you around town. So you look at haunted cities like New Orleans, Savannah, and you say, ghost tour? How about a driven ghost tour by Edward whatever the 15th, the great Duke of whatever. And it's really just self-driving cars, but we tell people it's ghosts.
Spooky sounds in the car.
$10 billion for 3%.
Please don't.
$5 million. I know. It's the hardest millionaire to be. I'll take 5.
Negotiate with some estates, get the rights to Elvis's ghost.
Ooh, celebrity ghost tours. Wow. Michael Ryan Ruiz.
I want a 5% stake.
I believe that you have found a scenario that's even scarier to me than a car that is self-driven.
Well, especially if they died in car accidents. That would be weird.
Ghosts, I think this is not just false advertising and a crime. I also think you've created a scenario where I feel even less safe on the road than all of the scenarios that I presently can feel unsafe on the road about.
When you were flying back from L.A., did you think there was someone flying your plane?
Yes.
You did.
But there's
Do you know what they were doing in the cockpits?
I know.
They were watching adolescents.
Right, but there are 2 of them in there in the
Just in
event.
case.
No, in the event that the machine doesn't work, there are 2 human beings in there. If you want to put you want to put the driver in the trunk of the car and he pops out and drives it right before we get into an accident, there I'd feel safer. But there are pilots on those planes. They're not just self-flying in a way that if something goes wrong, the pilots don't step in. And there are 2 of them. Like even on the smallest plane I've been on, and I've been on some terrifying small planes. They put 2 pilots on there. They put 2 pilots in the event that one of them goes down.
Well, technically in the self-driving car, there is a driver available should something go wrong. It's you. Just hop to the front seat and take over.
But I don't believe that. I don't.
If Tony was there, he'd drive that car. I'll tell you that right now.
I don't believe that that's actually how that works. That you're going to be able to just grab the steering wheel and drive the car the way a normal car would drive.
And you have Dan just hopping into the front seat like it's so easy.
While it's hitting a wall with no clutch.
I don't think you answered the question, though, Billy. You decided to stand up and go off elsewhere and bring ghosts.
I gave you $1 billion idea.
Yes, but you didn't answer the question.
What was the question?
Wouldn't it hit the same if he sat?
The amount that you fear or would fear if a car pulled up and was going to take you somewhere and didn't have a driver.
No, I don't like it. They could potentially just choose my destination, lock me in. I go to open it. They have the child lock on all the doors. I can't go in, and then I have to go to the gym and work out.
I think there's a movie coming out or has come out now that is exclusively in a car where someone tries to steal a car and then it's a horror movie and then gets trapped in the car and can't get out of the car, and for 2 hours there's whatever is a very slow death in the car.
I'm there.
Speaking of movies, incidentally, there were a handful of them I wanted to ask you about because I want to see which one you guys are most excited about in terms of what I've heard over the last 10 days is either going to be remade or is going to be totally new. So here are your choices. David Fincher and Quentin Tarantino are teaming up to do, I believe, a prequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So these are 2 monster directors. I don't think 2 directors of this ilk have ever collaborated on a project together.
When you have 2 directors, Dan, you have none.
Okay.
Pass. pass on that.
Tarantino has made his final movie 50 times already.
Thank you. Finally, someone said
like the Elton John tour.
True. No, that's not in it. He's got his final movie coming out, and I don't believe this is the final one because now
that's impossible. Then his final movie's never coming out unless he dies.
He's got bills to pay.
Maybe. David Fincher, for those of you who don't know, that's 7. He's done a lot of great stuff. Roadhouse 2 with Guy Ritchie is going to be made. I assume that Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor are going to be in that one again. Naked Gun is being rebooted with Liam Neeson.
What a great trailer that was. Seth MacFarlane's like the perfect guy for that. I don't know, did you see the trailer? They made O.J. Simpson canon, which is great.
You didn't want that, Stugotz? You're objecting to that?
I mean, it was good the first time around. It was perfect, dare I say, the first time around.
Well, it wasn't just the first time. That was the second time and the 33rd and the third time. So it's been like 30 years since we've seen a Naked Gun movie. And quite honestly, that entire genre, that spoofy type of genre, has kind of died with that specific type of humor. And it's, it was warm nostalgia.
Airplane, the greatest ever of that genre.
So Liam Neeson replaces Leslie Nielsen. I have trouble with these two names the same way I do with Jack Nicholas and Jack Nicholson. Sometimes I was surprised with Liam Neeson as the character to remake Naked Gun. He's been doing nothing but bringing back his children and daughter from icy roads and trains and foreign countries, and now all of a sudden he's going comedy.
Trying to show that range.
And he's about 70, is he not? Like, I don't think of him in any way as a comedic actor. Do you guys?
I mean, it's like what Leslie Nielsen did with Airplane. He was a dramatic actor before he did that movie.
Also in play, Ice Cube has written and will star in Last Friday. He's bringing that back. And also Nobody 2 with Bob Odenkirk, where he is
It's a good movie.
I love Nobody.
Me too.
So which of those are you guys most excited about? You can pick only one, and I give you your choice. Which are you picking?
I went with Nobody because I love Odenkirk, and I miss Better Call Saul.
More than Tarantino and Fincher.
Because I think they have a chance to botch it. Too many people involved.
I read the book that Tarantino put out around Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that really delved into Clint Booth's history, and it was just like uber nerdy. Not at all what he came out as in the movie, where he was like this man's man. He had all sorts of opinions on cinema and all sorts of influences. So I hope that they change it up. I also like that Tarantino was like, this is not a fit for me to direct, because contrary to Stugotz's take, Tarantino is trying to be ultra selective with what will be his final film. He's been rumored to be attached to films, and he's decided, no, that's not going to be my last picture.
I wonder if this even qualifies for him as his last film, because I think it's just for Netflix. And I think people like him and Scorsese don't view movies made for Netflix or the streamers as the same as they would movies that are in theaters.
Scorsese certainly takes a check. And so that
like
cash
the
is
money.
just, cash is like the money. No, I think for him, it's, did I write and direct this film? Is it a true written and directed by Quentin Tarantino picture? The story is Tarantino was like, I just don't think this works, but Brad Pitt really loved the script. In fact, it came out in a Deadline story where Deadline reassured everybody it wasn't an April Fool's Day story, that Brad, having worked with David Fincher on movies like Seven and Fight Club, convinced David Fincher to apparently take this project.
Let me ask Sampson this question as a movie fellow, because I'm surprised by his answer, and I'm surprised that he would think that two genius collaborators, that he would just surmise, ego will wreck that, even though both of those guys are almost fundamentally incapable of making an uninteresting movie, the two of them. So why would you assume, if they got together and are willing to get together and are willing to challenge themselves with whatever would be a first-time type of collaboration, why would you immediately arrive at thinking that would be failure? And if you are arriving immediately at that being failure, who are you putting together that wouldn't be failure? If those two particular people, two of the best there's ever been, working together, you think it's too much ego.
You know what happens when two people have equal footing and they get together and form a partnership, and there's no clear person who has final cut, final edit, final decision on shot? Or what happens? You got a problem. And so if you're telling me that Tarantino and Fincher are actually going to have someone in charge,
one of those two thinks
decision,
they're the alpha dog,
and you can't have two alpha dogs.
Yeah,
it won't work.
Right. When you have two, Dan.
I think you guys are overblowing it. Steven Spielberg has executive produced several big-time directors.
But he doesn't get involved. Executive producer.
Bullshit. There's a great story about a film, I think it was Twister, where it was going over budget, and he just landed on the tarmac and reamed out the director without stepping off the plane.
But Mike,
he gets super involved.
This is co-directing, though.
No, it's not co-directing. David Fincher is directing this film. Tarantino just wrote the script.
Fincher
Wait
thinks
a minute.
that.
So that's true romance then. Hold on.
And by the way, Tarantino has co-directed pictures in a sense, in that the Grindhouse film with Robert Rodriguez, he made a film, Robert Rodriguez made a film, and it came out in one standalone release.
You can have people who direct chapters of a film. That happens all the time. I thought what you said, it was like a Coen Brothers situation, or the Farrelly Brothers situation.
No, Tarantino's...
So Dan,
it's not true romance, though. This is his... It's Once Upon a Time...
Tarantino wrote,
it's the prequel. It's the prequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's his... It's Tarantino's
you said to me
movie.
They're both directing.
But it's Tarantino's movie being done by Fincher. It's Tarantino giving over his baby to a director that he considers someone... He doesn't consider many close to his equal. This is one he considers... it's basically him and Paul Thomas Anderson that he looks at and says, these people are my equal.
But when Fincher does something with the movie that Tarantino doesn't like, what's going to happen then? What do you think? What do you imagine would happen then?
Sounds like Tarantino could make this film, but wouldn't.
The one time that Tarantino did this, as you mentioned, with Rodriguez, it was a disaster. It's the worst thing on Tarantino's resume.
There was Planet Terror and Death Proof that together. I actually didn't mind Death Proof.
Well, you don't have to mind it. It's widely regarded as the worst thing Tarantino has made, and there's not a lot of bad stuff that Tarantino has made, but that would be the least popular of all of the things that Tarantino has been involved in.
Does that count? I don't even think that counts in his.
This guy, what counts and what doesn't count? It seems like if it's good, it counts. If it's bad, it doesn't.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Is it on his IMDb page? And is it there under director? Because they put it in a category. Did he direct it or not?
You're making a distinction, and I will have to look up and do more reporting on this. You're making a distinction that I don't think is relevant, because if Tarantino has written something that he is then going to put out into the world, I don't think he's going to be hands-off about letting someone else do that without any opinions given, no matter how much he trusts that person. I'm assuming that these two people are collaborating on something, and I'm surprised by your appraisal that they cannot do it successfully when both of them are choosing it out of admiration for each other.
You can collaborate, but someone has to have the final say.
It'll be curious to see how Tarantino's ego has aged with time, because it's not the first time that he's written a script, and another director has done it. Tony Scott, he did some work on Crimson Tide. Other directors,
True Romance as well, but this one is different just because it's his. This is a prequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is something that he has already curated, taken care of. What are you making faces about?
It's gonna fail if there's no set person in charge. If they're tied, what are they? Who's gonna break the tie?
Goes to the runner.
Well, I think Brad Pitt. By the story on it that I read, it seems as though this is Tarantino giving this project over to Brad Pitt, and Brad Pitt convinced David Fincher. I'm not really sure what the connection points are between Fincher and Tarantino. I'm sure there are some, being that they were in Hollywood excelling at a high rate, but this is really a Brad Pitt thing.
Dan said that the collaboration is it's the only one he respects. Tarantino along with PTA, that's it. That's all he'd work with.
It's the highest
It's not going to happen.
All right.
I'm with David. Clash of the Titans, Dan.
That's a different movie.
Oh, sorry.
Folks, it's Mike Ryan, and do you know that Miller Lite has basically been a partner of this show for almost 20 years? And as we celebrate 50 years of Miller Lite, that means for a large chunk of it, and look, I didn't go to school for math, but I'm pretty sure that's like 80% of the time that Miller Lite's been existing, they've been with our show. And I'm so grateful for it, because we truly believe this. If you listen to us back in our radio days, throughout our times in national radio, to the pirate phase, to now, you know that Miller Lite has been a huge supporter of ours. And I've always been a huge supporter of Miller Lite. Why? Because it's got taste you know you can depend on. A great beer, trusted by beer lovers for 50 years. Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.